Today we're going to talk about a real sexy topic, easements. Hi, this is Realtor Melissa Rolbiecki. This is Christi Reece.
Hello.
And welcome to Team Tuesday.
Woo! Easements may not be the sexiest of topics, but it is definitely something that can come up with a real estate transaction, and they can be confusing. The definition of an easement is a legal situation in which the title to a specific piece of land remains with the landowner, but another individual or entity is given the right to use the land or a piece of land for distinct purposes.
So examples could include a utility company having an easement that gives them access to electrical pole on your property. Or you could have an easement on your property if it blocks access to the main road. Easements don't affect your ownership, but they can affect some of your property rights.
That's right, Melissa. So some key things to know about easements. Easements give specific parties restricted access to your property, but they don't give ownership rights. There are three types of easements: appurtenant, gross, and prescriptive. Finally, easements can be legally documented in writing or informally granted via implied or prescriptive easement.
While there are three main types of easements, it is important to know that each can be a public or private easement and an affirmative or negative one. A private easement is one that grants land use rights to certain people, whereas public easement grants those rights to the general public. An affirmative easement allows someone to do something on a property, while a negative easement forbids it.
And we deal with a lot of easements in the properties that we list and sell. So during your house hunt, it's important to carefully review property disclosures and check for easements before making an offer. This way you'll understand your property rights as a new homeowner.
So in these three types, an easement appurtenant is an easement that is not limited to a period of time or property owner, but instead it is tied to the property itself. So if a property changes ownership, it remains in place.
An easement in gross is tied to a specific person or entity and not to the property itself. These usually can't be voided until the easement holder passes away or the home is sold. If the home is sold, the seller can transfer the easement to the new owner, or the new owner can deny the easement. If, however, the easement is from a public entity, like a utility company, you could be taken to court if you deny the easement.
An easement by prescription is when a person continuously uses another land for a long period of time as if they had an easement. Examples of this would include if a neighbor unknowingly built their fence over the boundary line that was discovered 10 years later. They may be granted a prescriptive easement in a circumstance since it meets the criteria.
So how do you find out if a home you're thinking of purchasing has an easement? If the seller is aware of any easements, they are legally obligated to list them in the disclosure documents. Sometimes homeowners are not aware of existing easements, so you can look into this through the local assessor's office, county clerk's office, utility companies, and property or title search.
If a home has an easement, it isn't automatically a bad thing. Often it is a positive or neutral experience. For example, your neighbor may have an easement to access a park via your property, which can be super easy to deal with as long as they respect your property. It behooves you to fully understand any easements, what types they are, and each party's rights. Removing an easement can be an extensive process, so it is best to know what you're getting into.
An easement doesn't affect your ownership or have a direct impact on your property value. However, an easement could impact your ability to sell if it's tied to the property and has strict rules that may be off-putting to potential buyers. Some easements may indirectly affect your property value, like unattractive utility equipment or walking paths that affect your property's aesthetics.
There are also circumstances where you'll want to get a new easement for a prospective property, like getting a property line extended due to current codes. So lots to think about, and it is important to have a trusted agent on your side to help you through the process. Give us a call at 970-589-7700 if you have any questions. We would love to chat. Thanks for joining us for Team Tuesday, and have a great day.
We'll see you next week. Easements. Yeah, that's a lot of information. Call us if you have questions.